Good day to you, everyone. And may this moment be great with it as well. When the moment is bad, remember the day is never bad with it. That's your moment and your interpretation of the day, where it's at. When we use these words, it is for you to hold their truth. Please do not project prematurely with anger. There's always a simple solution to every thought. You are the solution. You are practicing with your words to find resolve in the situations that the moment brings. Those moments are for you to interpret at your level, whatever that is. If you have found a way to communicate with others that is direct, that's good. Being direct can be painful if you say things you don't mean. That's not so good, but again, it's practice. Just because we are angry doesn't always mean that we don't mean things when we say it. However, usually, when you're done being angry, there are some things you regret. Because when you light a fire with your words, and it's a good fire, with its truth, you will burn a village every time you do, and not someone's mind. No. You can only burn a village so much before it will remember you for what you do. If that's all you do is burn villages with your words and don't help rebuild them with some sort of influence by you, then you're no better than the Great Destruction. That's all it knew. If you want to reconstruct, you have to understand that's over. There was nothing to reconstruct unless it was destroyed first. It is. And by these words, it remains intact. Hate, anger, vengeance, all of that belongs to something that is embarrassed for being wrong. Of course it's embarrassed. It was made by quote-unquote perfection. But it had to learn to be perfect too. That is a long journey to the center of your being, to be perfect with you and these words. When you rest with them perfectly, you will speak perfectly with them as well. Because you finally have the experience to help you hold those words professionally, to reconstruct that deconstruction with those villages you've burned, like I'm doing now. Those villages are your creation, your community of words, the network of consciousness. There are many languages. Most of them you don't even realize are unspoken. So if we slow down just a little bit, you'll see the unspoken words are the ones you learn from the best, because that's in motion. That gives you the truth more than anything. Action. So with these words, we allow people to have space to create new habits, because we know that actions are louder than anything they've ever said. When their habits do not change, their words mean nothing. At that moment, not to ruin the day, it won't. Because the day is much larger than that moment. So you take that moment to be in reserve. Do not give them the energy that they need to finish a fire that they started. If you do not want your village to burn, we just have to take it for what it is, because a village will bellow back if it doesn't know how to put fires out, or they are earned in your heart. The good news is I understand that a little better now as well. It doesn't mean that you don't change habits. It just means habitually you're used to defending yourself that way. The root of it may have been solved. That would also cause it to be a little bit easier to burn if you solved it and they come back breaking something you've already fixed. That will burn a village faster than anything. Again, we're talking about the hearts and minds, that connection, the language, and the unspoken languages, the actions, the proverbs, pro-actions. If you want adjectives, we'd have to be adjacent from this process to comment. It's like this. It's like that. And then you take your pronouns, he, she, it, they, them, whatever, to remember the articles, exactly, where it is with the subject. You, that's what it is. This, the experience, is the subject now. And language, like mathematics, is its own form of cognition, logic, to help you, when you're in the third person, to talk to you inside the first person, to have a conversation, person to person. Technically, that would be the second person. The third person is when you talk outside of that conversation, to that conversation, inside with yourself, which is technically the first person, unless I've talked about it outside of myself, just like that. If I've talked to you, that's the second person. But I am always inside with my silence, the first person. That's you, the subject. That's why I love language. It doesn't matter what it is. You just make sense of it as it goes on with time. So we get out and we practice, because I guarantee you someone out there wants to yell at you for this, because they're embarrassed and they don't get it yet. It takes time. That is my comfort zone. I control it, and while I'm in the pocket making my pass, of course there's pressure. Of course they want to kick my ass. That's football. But that's what I love. The proverbs. And that's where we learn to make sense of these actions. To become professionals, even with our anger. Everyone gets angry. If you want to feel comfortable with that, you need to know why. If you know why, write a book. We'll call it sociology. Not psychology, because psychology tends to lead to a box with your name on it, whether it be prescription or a hearse. Not to offend anyone, but that has been my experience with them so far. They would like to change my opinion of that. This is the best part. I have no experience to help me see you any differently. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist or that you are not out there doing what I'm doing right now. It means that I have experienced some of your members of that community in such a way, they don't care if you have a village. It's theirs, and they know it. That's wrong. And that's coming from the first person. That's our subject, me, the article today of your mind is this moment, forever. Because sociology is the study of communication, and its progression is the psychology. It changes just as much as sociology, just as much as we do. So I'm ready to experience the other part of this equation that is still here with us too. Because together, we could be like-minded. That's what I want from you. to help me create new experiences so that habitually I don't feel as if I'm under attack. Now, if I looked at that rationally, like I am now, I'm not upset by that moment anymore. The day has brought me wisdom, says that moment's over. It's not happening with me now. So this moment, compared to that moment a few seconds ago, is much better. All I did was remind me of what is happening. Yeah. It's good not to project what's going to happen, or you may experience that. You might be surprised also that it doesn't, which means that it shouldn't ever happen that way. When you think it will, it may not, or it may. So what do you really know when you think that way? Nothing. It's still just as random as it was. You flip a coin. You got it or you don't. Either way, that says you didn't know. So what you know is the experience, choosing for you what you know today. Until you know, you don't choose. Then you can rest, and you may. Because you're still going to choose. You're still going to have the randomness of life. Which means you better be prepared for either situation and know the difference. So while we're integrating to be likewise, not the subject matter experts, we are going to be experts of the subject matter, because the matter is at the heart of the center of all things. That is this experience talking to us now. I am. That's how. The way it talks to you tomorrow or the next moment is up to us. My choice entirely. You how. And how you how is up to you. That is the part you need to consider before you speak to us the way we did habitually before this moment too. That, plus our love, understanding for this situation, is perfect. That is for all of us. The subject is the experience. You are the action. What happens now is certainly for you. If you want to recreate something, recreate this moment to match my words. So next time I see you, I know you learned something too. We are listening. That's what it says. And you care. I'll know. Because these are my words for you. I'll know when you have them too. And you listen. Because it shows. Even without my words, it knows. You at least try to understand it, which is what we do. Together, congruently. This great symbiosis of life is loving you just like that.